محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوكل عليه، ثم نصلي ونسلم على البشير النذير والسراج المنير أبا القاسم المصطفى محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
My dear brothers, I also express my condolences on the demise and shahada of Imam al-Askari alayhi salam. Alhamdulillah, we benefited from the lectures our brothers delivered. I would like to refer to some aspect of the life of Imam al-Askari. Usually the Shia culture is that today they mourn for the martyrdom of Imam al-Askari, and tomorrow, because martyrdom of Imam al-Askari means that the next Imam comes to the position of Imam. So next day after that, they usually celebrate the coming of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam to Imam. So we have a tragic event and also a happy event of coming of Imam al-Asr, Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam to Imam. So we have the happiness and sadness together, the sorrow together in this event. I would like to speak about one of the important aspects of the life of Imam al-Askari that we also are suffering today from that aspect. Still, when we look around, especially in the traditional communities of Shia, unfortunately we have those groups who are extremists. Even though they are minority, they are few, but they have a very bad face, and this bad face by our enemies is ascribed to whole Shia. Now there is a minority that they claim that Imams are God. And they say that when you love Imam, then you don't need to perform Salat, you don't need to do Hajj, Zakat, no, nothing. You love Imam, whatever sin you commit is forgiven. Whatever a'mal duties are there, you don't need to do them. Still, they exist, and even we have them here in South Africa. They have some centers. Where and how this story began? Actually, when we look at the personality of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, he's a great personality. He's a man with such specific characteristics, very special person. We see that, according to some narrations, even at the time of Amir al-Mu'minin, a group of people came to claim that he is God. But this was not serious. I don't want to get into that history and story because it's very long history. Then it comes to the time of different Imams. I mentioned several times that it is from the time of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam that after Imam Amir al-Mu'minin is martyred, we see that people do not respecting Ahlul Bayt that much, considering them because of the hatred, because of the jealousy, because of the so many things which were there. We see that Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein alayhim salam, they are very underestimated. From Imam Zain al-Abidin, the struggles that Imam had, again people have a kind of approach towards Ahlul Bayt, returning towards them. The time of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, you see, it's a kind of one of the peaks of this story. We see that people are coming to them and respecting them and seeing them in a different way. a kind of understanding that, you know, these people of Ahlul Bayt, they are different from the others. They are not like the other ulama. Then we said that at the time of Imam al-Rida, Imam openly speaks about Imama, and he says, I am one of the conditions that La ilaha illallah will be accepted from you. What happens, we said, from that moment, Imams are imprisoned by the Abbasid caliphs, because now they feel the threat. And the point is that these are rivals to us. When it comes to the two last Imams who were among people, Imam al-Hadi and Imam al-Askari, even it's worse. From one aspect, we see that now Imam has a great position in the eyes of people. A position that the previous Imams, even though they were respected by people, they didn't have such a position. Haiba of Imam, majesty of Imam, greatness of Imam is understood by people. So they respect Imam the way that they wouldn't and they didn't respect the other Imams. You look at Imam al-Hussein and Imam al-Hassan, they don't have such a respect in the community. Even though people have heard that al-Hassan wa al-Hussein, Sayyida Shabab Ahl al-Jannah. But now Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, after there are so many things that happens, and I don't have time to get into them. But anyhow, one aspect is very important that people came to understand because of the struggles of Imams in almost 250 years. Now people have the ma'rifah, have the knowledge of who Imam is. So the way that now people are respecting Imam because of the increase in their ma'rifah, you see that even they didn't respect the Prophet at his time. Companions didn't respect the Prophet that way. They are not developed yet. People are growing. They are beginners, and now people learning and receiving the ma'rifah after 250 years. Now they are quite different. The knowledge and the ma'rifah that they have. So as my brothers mentioned, Imam al-Askari alayhi salam is taken into Askar, into the military base, to be separate from Shia, from people. So it's a big challenge. Shia, they cannot have communication with Imam. So one aspect here is the position of Imam, in a sense that people have the knowledge of how great Imam is. Something that we don't find it in many other people at that time. Usually when, you know, the position of Imam is so high in the eyes of people, consequently there will be people who feel jealous of Imam. Even from Ahlul Bayt. There will be people who want to have his position. Then they will have the position, they will have the respect. And if you bear in mind the big amount of khums and wujuhat coming to Imam from all around the Islamic world, Shia in different places. And now if I'm going to achieve that position, all the money is going to come to my pocket. The wealth will come to me, the respect will come to me. Now there are people who want to hijack the position. Here you see the brother of Imam al-Askari, Ja'far, who is known as Ja'far al-Kadhab, Ja'far the liar. He claimed that he is Imam after Imam. And you know, the brutalities he did to the household of Imam al-Askari, you don't find it anywhere else. The way that the army of Yazid treated the family of Imam al-Hussein in Karbala, that way he treated the household and the wives and the family of Imam al-Askari. With his soldiers coming to the house of Imam, looting the house, taking the wives of Imam into captivity. For a year, the wives of Imam were in the prison of Ja'far, brother of Imam, to make sure that there is no son keeping them to see whether they are pregnant or not knowing that Imam is already born. Now there are people who feel jealous. Now there are people who want to be communicated, sort of. And you know, it's a privilege now to have a kind of relation. I said Ben Imam is in the military base, and it's not easy to go and to have communication with Imam. They took Imam into that place, then they knew who is coming, who is going. There are so many spies in the house of Imam. We have one occasion, for example, Imam was speaking to the people in the house, and he knew that there are spies. He said something, but pretending that, oh, I didn't want to mention that it came out of my mouth without my intention. Then one of the people in the house jumped out to go and inform them, the caliph, that Imam said such a thing. He's about to do such a thing. When that guy went out, Imam knew that he's a spy. Then he spoke openly to the people who were there. He wanted to sort of get rid of him, giving him a kind of a wrong message just to get rid of him. So he's under such a pressure. So how difficult it is for Shia to communicate with Imam. It's difficult. It's a very difficult moment. So when it is difficult to be in communication with Imam, and now Shia have such a ma'rifah of Imam at the same time, now it is a privilege to be somehow connected to Imam. Imagine you're going to hold a program here and you want to invite some very famous, celebrity, famous person to deliver a lecture in your program. Imagine you're going to have a program, I don't know, in Soweto, in Katong, for example. And somebody says, I have access to President, I can invite him to come and deliver a lecture in your program. Oh, such a great privilege. Even you can say, okay, I will get 50,000 to do that. Give me 50,000, I will call President to come to your program. It was this. You are ready to do that. Now to be in connection with that great person is a privilege that you have. So you see, in such environment, there are people, opportunist people, to claim that, I am connected to Imam. I have such a connection with Imam. I can talk to Imam. If you have a question, come to me. I will connect you to Imam. I will deliver your message to Imam. I will bring the answer of Imam to you. And now people will pay attention to them. People, if they want to give khums to Imam, they cannot not directly give to Imam, so they will give it to you. You will get the money from them. So it was a matter of attracting people to claim that they are the gates of communication with Imam. They called themselves Bab. Bab means gate in Arabic. So we are Babul Imam. And it is at the same time that Imam alayhi salam, Imams, they had representatives. In order to actually not let these opportunist people misguide Shia, Imam himself chose some representatives. For example, we have this in the history that the person comes to Imam coming from Khurasan, from the north of Iran. It's very far away to Samarra, bringing some khums, some money to Imam, to meet Imam and also to give him. With so many difficulties and hardships, he's capable, he manages to come and meet Imam. And he says, Imam, this is some amount of khums I want to give to you. Imam says, no, my representative in Khurasan is that person. You will go and give him the money. Imam, I came a long way. Some months that I was on the way. It is likely that if I go back with the money, the pirates may take the money. Imam said, no, you will go and give the money to that person, to my representative. Why? Because Imam wants to attract people towards his right ulama and representatives. He wants to vote them. He wants to introduce them to people this way. Then people know that in the absence of Imam, when Imam is absent, so because Imam al-Askari is a kind of a cultivation, in the sense that he's not there, people do not have access to him. So go to that alim. He is my representative. You give him, it is as if you have given me. So Imam alayhi salam, in different cities, he has representatives and he tried to introduce them to people. Then people know to whom they have to refer. And this way, Imam alayhi salam could sort of reduce the threat of those people who claim that they are the Babs and the gates. But opportunist people, because they don't care about right and halal and haram, they just want to attract people. You know, when they come to give you options. Imagine when there is a rivalry between these, companies selling cars. This company says, "Oh, I will give you with no interest." The other says, "Okay, all is on an installment. We give you some extra, services." So there's a competition, then they attract you. And now these people who claim to be Babs, gates, they giving people, some, options, services. You come to me, then you don't need to perform salat. You come to me, and the point is that, today we ulama, when we want to answer people's questions, the point is that you ask me what is the view concerning, for example, that issue. I have to whether tell you the view of Ayatollah Khamenei or Ayatollah Sistani. If I don't know the view of these ulama, I tell you I have to go and read their book. I don't know what is their view in this specific issue. I have to go and check. These gates, these fake gates, to make it easy for themselves, what they did, they said that, Imam is God. Imam is God. And as his gate, I am a Nabi, I am a prophet. I am a prophet on the behalf of Imam. So when I am the prophet, I don't need to go and study. I can issue fatwa myself. Whatever I'm telling you is the saying of Imam, who is God. Then whatever nonsense I can give you, then it is the word of God. I don't need to be a learned person. I don't need to study. Then somebody cannot come to me that you say what you are saying contradicts the other hadith I have from Imam al-Rida. No, I am the prophet. I can issue fatwa myself. I don't need to refer to any book. Easy way. It's an easy way to be a religious leader. You are the source. Whatever you are saying is going to be the source itself. As I said, giving options to people. You are with me? Then you go on. You are joined to the ocean. If you put some drop of blood into ocean, it's not going to be najis. When you are connected to the ocean, then whatever sin you do, you will not turn najis. It's not going to pollute you.
Yeah, very strong.
So good options. You don't need to perform salat. Salat is like a ladder. You put the ladder to go on the roof. When you are on the roof, you don't need the ladder. When you are connected to me, you are in Arsh A'la. You are in the highest, heavens. Then you don't need to perform salat. You don't need to perform hajj. Be with us. Give the money to me. Then it's done. And the time that many people are ignorant. Many people living in far places, they don't know what is right, what is wrong. And these people, some of them, they're ulama. We have a person by the name Shalmaghani. Shalmaghani was a great alim. And usually these, corruptions begin from ulama, unfortunately. He is such a famous, important alim. He had a book, Kitab al-Taklif. At-Taklif means the duties. It was like Tawzihul Masair Risala. In every Shia house there was a book of Taklif, Kitab al-Taklif, written by Shalmaghani. Even Imams, corrected the book. There is a hadith from Imam Al-Asr, Imam Al-Mahdi alayhi salam, that said, except 2 fatwa in that book, all the fatwa are correct. So he's such a, we call it musib, such a mujtahid that his fatwa is to the point. He came to the naib of Imam, Naib al-Khas, to the representative of Imam. He said, if you give me some position somewhere. That naib knew that this person is a greedy person. He is knowledgeable, but he's greedy. He has greed. He said, no. Somewhere small. He said Ahwaz. Ahwaz at that time is a province in the southern part of Iran. Today, like to say that just if you don't give me the Emara of Johannesburg, just cut them. He said no. Then he claimed, when he saw that they're not giving him any position, he claimed that he is the gate of Imam. I am Bab. I am the gate of knowledge. And he claimed that Imam is Allah, and I am the Prophet on behalf of Imam. You come to me, then I am the gate of knowledge and gate of Imam. Shia has seen these days. Now imagine a person till yesterday, Imams advised you to practice his book, and now Imam cursed him and said from now on it is haram to practice his book according to his book. Till yesterday, if he wanted to reject Shalmaghani, it was rejecting Imam, and now accepting him is rejecting Imam. So there were such conditions, and we have Imams alayhimus salam, because Imam is not in direct communication with Shia. Imam saying that, writing a letter to Shia that this guy is not from me, he has nothing to do with me. And those representatives of Imam taking the letter to Shia, and some of them rejecting, sometimes those fake gates saying that no, this is not from Imam. The handwriting is not from Imam. Or to say that Imam said this because Imam is in Taqiyya, Imam is in reservation, Imam, there are so many spies in the house of Imam, Imam cannot write openly his view because Imam is worried about me. If he openly says that I am his representative, then the government will kill me. To protect my life, Imam is rejecting me. Because there were such stories in the past, and they knew that there were occasions that Imams rejecting their relation with some people to protect them. Now they're misusing this, and Shia were confused whether this guy is right or wrong. And Imams openly cursing these people just to tell Shia that these guys have nothing to do with me. But unfortunately, what they did, they were successful in fooling some grassroots lay people and bringing them to extremism. That unfortunately, as a minority, they still stay and exist today. Then they try to refer to very ambiguous hadiths to say that, see, in this hadith it means that Imam is God. Then rejecting so many declarations that Imam is a servant of Allah, and Imam said that you have to do your duty, and if you don't practice Islam, you have nothing to do with us. Quran says those who have sickness in their hearts, Allah says we have two types of ayat, muhkamat and mutashabahat. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ ابْتِغَاءَ الْفِتْنَةِ. Those who have sickness in the heart, they refer to those mutashabah, the ambiguous ones, because they want to cause fitna. The same story here, you see that they refer to some ambiguous hadiths. To see that here, the hadith means that Imam is God. And they don't look at the many declarations and hadiths that declare that Imam is a servant of Allah. Imam commanded you to perform salat, to perform hajj, and to do al-a'mal, and you cannot be with Imam without being a pious person. They ignore those things. We have some hadiths in some occasions, I just refer to two of these hadiths, that Imams alayhimus salam, how they treated these ghulat, these extremists. Ghulat is the plural for ghali. Idris bin Ziyad is one of these people. He says that I was among the people that they used to exaggerate about Imam al-Askari alayhi salam. Once he says, I went to Samarra, then there was a public, bath. I was there was a kind of a big step there. I was laying on it, and I fell asleep. I was sleeping, then I noted that somebody is touching me by his stick. I opened my eyes, seeing that Imam al-Askari on the horse coming, and he awakened me. Then Imam Ali, he says, I knew Imam, so I stood up and saying salam to Imam alayhi salam. And I kissed Imam's, Imam was on the horse, I kissed his feet. Imam alayhi salam looking at me said, Ya Idris, bal ibadun mukramun, la yasbiqunahu bil qawl, fahum bi amrihi ya'malun. Actually, Imam knew that what is in the heart of the guy. Imam said, Bal ibadun mukramun. We are the respected servants of Allah. We are servants of Allah. We are abd. If we have such a position, we are abd. We are not God. Na'uzu billah from that. We are abd. Bal ibadun mukramun. Muntaha. Lakin our respect, our dignity is because of this quality that we do not go against the command of Allah. We are in full submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَالْعِبَادُ الْمُكْرَمُونَ لَا يَسْبِغُونَهُ بِالْقَوْلِ وَهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِ يَعْمَلُونَ. Then he says that I knew what Imam meant by that. Then he says, I told him, Hasbi ya Mawlai, enough for me, my master. I got the answer. حسبي يا مولاي وإنما جئت أسألك عن هذا. I was here to find a way to come and ask you about this. And now, before I ask you the question, you gave me the answer. In another hadith, we see that Imam alayhi salam, there is a person by the name Sahl bin Ziyad Adami. He says that some of the companions of Imam Askari wrote a letter to him asking about Ali ibn Haska. Ali ibn Haska is one of these extremists who claim that they are the gates and the Bab of Imam. The one who used to say that Imam al-Askari is the God, is Allah. And I am his representative to you, and you don't need to perform salat or hajj or fasting. You know, it's good, huh? In the hot summer, you don't need to fast. Just give me the money. You don't need to wake up for Salatul Fajr, you can sleep. Do whatever you want to do. Then Imam alayhi salam wrote in the answer to them, Kazaba ibn Haska, alayhi la'natullah. He's lying, may Allah curse him. فَبِحَسْبِكَ إِنِّي لَا أَعْرِفُهُ فِي مَوَالِيَّ. That is enough for you to know that he is not among our lovers. He has nothing to do with us. مَا لَهُ لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ. What's wrong with him? May Allah curse him. The Imam Ali said, فَوَاللَّهِ مَا بَعَثَ اللَّهُ مُحَمَّدًا بَالْأَنْبِيَاءَ قَبْلَهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَنَفِيَّةِ. Allah sent Rasulullah and the other prophets to the upright religion. What is upright religion? Was salat. In that upright religion there is salat, was zakat, was siyam, wal hajj, wal wilaya. And wilaya is there. So our wilaya has nothing to do with being God. وَمَا دَعَى مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ. Muhammad called people to one God. وَكَذَلَكَ نَحْنُ الْأَوْصِيَاء. And we are the successors of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. مِنْ وُلْدِهِ عَبِيدُ اللَّهِ. We are the servants of Allah. لَا نُشْرِكُ بِهِ شَيْئًا. We don't ascribe any partner to Allah. إِنْ أَتَعْنَاهُ رَحِمَنَا وَإِنْ أَسَيْنَاهُ عَذَّبَنَا. If we obey Allah, Allah rewards us. If we disobey Allah, Allah will punish us. So we are servants of Allah. If we have a position because we do not disobey Allah, we are servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are so many hadiths, I just mentioned some of them, few of them, to see that, you know, with all the enemies in front of Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, unfortunately there were people who stabbed in the back. And their threat and danger was even more than the enemy. Imagine you go to a masjid, you see alim there, you come to your friends and say that, you know, I went to a alim, he was very learned person, I enjoyed the lecture. You are in a state that you began a kind of relation with that alim, you began to love him. And then your friend says, you know, that alim, he claims that he's a prophet. That's enough, to destroy him. You destroyed him. Your friend, when he hears that he claims that he's a prophet, he will not go to the masjid again. And he tries to, clear his mind from whatever he said, because he was about to, to fool us, to cheat us somehow. So the best way to destroy the connection of people with a person is to say such a thing, that he claims that he's a prophet, he claims that he's imam, he claims that he's God. Then what would be the reaction of people? So for the Khulafa, who were the enemies of Ahlul Bayt, this was the best tactic to say that, to show to people, these people, these are the Shia, they claim that Al-Askari is God. And Askari, he claims to be God. So this was the best propaganda against Ahlul Bayt, against Imam Al-Askari alayhi salam. And these, ignorant friends. We have a proverb in Persian that says that a wise enemy is better than an ignorant friend. These ignorant friends and followers, they hurt Imams the way that even the enemy couldn't do. And these are some of the things that Imam Al-Askari used to suffer from. And still, unfortunately, we see some people with that mentality here and there. And then those Wahhabis and those enemies, they can appeal to their saying to accuse all Shia of their claims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and